It's the early morning hours in 1981, South Dakota. Patrick is the baby of the family, and of course, he can't hold his pee in till the next morning. It's very uncomfortable, and he needs to use the bathroom, but he can't do it comfortably because he's not in his home anymore. He's staying in the family shed with the rest of his family because their house got burned down by fire. So now they moved to the family farm owned by their father, John Mathis. He calls his dad, John, to explain his dilemma, and John takes him to use the bathroom outside the shed. So John takes him back inside and goes to work back outside beside the hog pen. A hog pen is where farmers keep pigs, because I had to search that. I didn't know what a hog pen was. So as he's working, he hears some discomforting noise and he thinks it's nothing at first. Probably just the wind, until he hears his dog barking. So now he knows he has to go outside and check why his dog is barking. On getting closer to the dog, this man that is dressed in black with a face mask is running from the left side of his shed. He's confused and starts chasing after him. He manages to reach him and he gets in a tussle with him, but he has no match with this masked man because this masked man was with a gun. And then he pulled out this gun and shot John in the left arm. While John was bleeding, the only thing he could think of was his family. So as the masked man fled the scene, he rushed back to his home, but something caught his attention first. The masked man had written "Mathis suck" on the wall or window of the farm shed entry. He ignores this and pushes the door open, only to find two of his sons, Brian, who was just 4 years old, and Patrick, who he had just taken to use the restroom some minutes earlier, shot to death. He runs to where his wife Ladonna was, but sadly, she was also shot to death. Researching this case has been absolutely bonkers for me because I read a comment on Bella Fiore's page. I know you guys are going to say I'm always using Bella Fiore, but like, you know, she's like the one that actually inspired me to start my own true crime YouTube channel like a year or 2 years ago. Anyways, Bella, please investigate the unsolved September 8th, 1981 South Dakota case of a triple homicide of a mom and her two sons, ages 2 and 4. The husband survived the stabbings. So, it wasn't stabbings, by the way, he was shot. So when I read this case, I thought it was going to be a viral case, but Wikipedia has nothing. In fact, I think I'm going to be the first person covering this case in the community. So let's dive right in. This case took place in Mount Vernon on the 8th of September 1981 with a call from John in distress going to his former high school classmate Doug Kirkos, who was of the position of the sheriff's deputy at the time. The call was by 3:45 a.m. and the first thing John said was, "He has killed my entire family. Will you help me get that son of a bitch?" It wouldn't have happened if I had locked the door. Kirkos had called the police and an ambulance on his way to the house, and they arrived there at the same time with John's father, so it is assumed he also called his father too. Kirkos looked at the scene and said, "First time seeing something of this magnitude," and the other specialists on the scene agreed. The investigation began after getting Mathis and his dead family members to the hospital, and Ladonna had been shot twice in the head, Brian shot once through the ear, and little Patrick was shot twice in the back and in the neck. Other police officers saw Kirkos standing in the scene and approached him to ask the position John was in when he got there. And John said he was kneeling beside his wife's bed crying when I got here. So not long after the investigations began, people started suspecting Mathis for committing the murders. That is always the thing about this type of cases. If there's a family murder and one person survives, and then there is no like really concrete evidence that there was someone else, oh my gosh, the person that's alive is most likely going to be looked at like, okay. Even Kirkos told the investigators that something wasn't adding up. Mathis is arrested not long after, and getting through the process of his trial, the defense really had some good points to defend him. Firstly, that there was no evidence to convict him, and the whole investigation was an attempt to get him to confess to a crime that he did not commit. Secondly, the defense also stated that there was a burnout within 2 to 3 miles of where the farm was, and it was no-brainer that there are gun crimes committed there because citizens in the area had always complained that, you know, they had guns pointed at them, and even the children were also disturbed in the area. Thirdly, Mathis had said the same story 3 times without changing the storyline. or acting confused. So they explained that someone who had just killed his wife would not have his first utterance be, "Will you help me get that son of a bitch?" Because that obviously came from a place of anger. The fact that the writing on the door was Mathis and not Mathis, which is his actual surname, also indicated that it couldn't have been him to purposely get his own name wrong. Fourthly, the gunpowder of the bullets did not match the one that was found on Mathis's shirt. Again, so there was a bullet that was found in Mathis's coat at the time, which made him seem so suspicious to the police. And Mathis said that he put the gun bullet in his pocket because he saw Patrick playing with it the night before the murders, which any responsible parent would do. So he took the bullet and put it in his pocket. The next part honestly just seems like the universe did not want Mathis going to prison, because a member of the jury that does not live far away from Mathis's shed farm, you would not believe that on the third day after the trial on a weekend, he was taking a walk in the area and saw a .22 shell on the floor, which is the same one that Mathis had in his pocket when they arrested him. So this alone was evidence that Mathis could most likely have been telling the truth. The sixth reason and final reason was that Mathis had difficulty graduating from high school, and the psychiatric test he did before the trial suggests that he's unable to intellectually carry out a murder, talk less of a triple murder. The fact that the gun was never found also made Mathis have an upper hand in this case. So the only thing that made him seem guilty was that after he went to stay with his family, he did not go back to the farm to reenact how the killings were played out for the police to understand better and try to find the person that did this. The last and only surviving son is living in the old house right now that got burned down, and people keep asking him, how he could do that, and he said that he doesn't feel triggered by it because he wasn't there when all of this played out. And he was actually with a friend. He was sleeping over at his friend's family place when his family got killed, except his dad. So which is why he was not in the house at the time. And some people say that, like, if Mathis actually really wanted to kill his whole family, he would have just waited for the son to be around, blah blah blah. And and the son also doesn't believe his dad did it because of the trauma he went through till date. So Mathis is still unmarried till now. So Mathis ended up not getting arrested because there was not enough proof against him. He was also given a watch eye. He was watched on, like the police was watching him for a year, because in case there's any crime that is committed or anything of similar sense happens to him, happens to anyone around him or to him, they would know that he's guilty. And this was also given because LaDonna's family believed that he actually did do it, and they wanted custody of the last child, which Mathis did not agree to. And people just felt like he actually did do it, and obviously the court giving him a warning and a timestamp made them feel like it's like supposing I committed a murder now and I got away with it, and the only thing is, for this next period of a year or 2 years, if anything happens, then I will know that you're guilty, blah 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 blah. Of course I'm not going to commit any crime because I don't want you to find me guilty, which is what people assume that happened. And people also think that the first attempt to kill his family was the first time that his house was burnt down, because he was not in the house at the time, and it took a long time when the whole house was basically in burns, and he was not that far away from the house. So people were wondering how he couldn't even hear it when the neighbors could. So they believe that was his first attempt to burn the house down, but LaDonna and the kids had escaped from the back, which he probably forgot to lock. So this is just speculation, by the way. It's not even like it's concrete proof. So I want to know what you guys think about this. Do you actually think that he killed his family? Do you think he was a stranger? Do you think he was someone that was probably jealous of them or of the wife? Or I don't know. It's giving I don't know. I would have thought that probably it was someone that wanted to get married to Mathis's wife, or was in love with Mathis's wife and got angry. But I mean, my mind space is so far gone off of what could have happened, because it's obviously someone that has like personal vendetta towards them, because for the person to know their surname, Mathis suck, and to go through that process of writing that on the door. If it was actually someone else, then it's someone that knew one of the parents personally. Yeah, so I mean, that's all for today. What do you guys think? You guys should let me know in the comments below. And if you have any case requests, don't forget to drop it down, and I will see you guys in my next video.